Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome back. Hold up, Corey. I'm gonna do the standard issue. Hey guys.
Hey
Welcome
guys.
back. Hey guys. Welcome back to Hey everyone. We got a nice show here for you today. We got an interview, but it's like it's not that much of an interview, more of a kickback, right? We know you've all been listening to NFT QT, and we have the host of NFT QT on our show today. This is a meta episode. What's up, Q? What's up, Brian?
Yo, what's good?
Live in the flesh.
Podcast Network, right?
Yeah, this is a meta episode, and it goes along with everybody talking about. Why is everybody talking about the metaverse right now, Corey? Like, I know you're locked in. What's going on, man?
People don't know what the hell they're doing with all these NFTs, and they get them. They're like, "So what do I do with them?" Well, what happens? It's like, I don't know. Put them in the metaverse, like virtual places to look at them. You know, it's because like the whole idea of virtual places to then put virtual things have been around for a long time, and now that people are just throwing money at these NFTs, they're like, all right, I got one. Now what? How do I stunt, right? How do I flex with these things or try and push them on and make galleries so that I could resell them in certain ways? And obviously, like, virtual environments or showcases for these types of stuff, or whatever the metaverse is the avenue to use these digital assets. At least that's my opinion. What do y'all think?
No, I would agree with that, man. I think the metaverse is also a really cool word. So people want to feel smart, and what they do is they say, "Oh, I'm going to the metaverse," and they if you ask them where the metaverse was, they'd probably say the metaverse.
Yeah. The drop for the new Matrix was like the impeccable timing.
For sure. I just have no faith in the new Matrix. I'm sorry. Like, 3 let me down so much, and then the Animatrix stuff. We could talk about the Matrix. That's a whole nother podcast, though. So I'm gonna go back to you, Corey.
We can't keep. If we talk about the Matrix, we'll be here all day. And I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Man,
Matrix was a beautiful.
I was supposed to be young Morpheus. I was supposed to be in the Matrix. They didn't pick me.
I was just thinking that. I was like, man, you would have made a pretty damn good Morpheus. Like, holy cow.
They said my voice was too high.
That's right. You got to just throw a little bass and just huff one of them like air things. And then, oh, wait, sorry, this shows.
And then the casting director said I was a little too straight edge. They said, "You've never done drugs?" And they told me to F out of here.
You just got to tell them my persona in the metaverse is way different. I got a deeper voice in the metaverse. I'm way swaggier in the metaverse.
Ryan, I tried, man. I tried to talk my way into that movie, and then they were like, "Look, if you don't get out of here, we're going to call security." And then,
I'll even put a gap in my
teeth. He's got the glasses.
That I do.
So Ryan, I've known Q for quite a long while now, years now, but you're new to the network, and I don't even think we've like had an introduction. So why don't you introduce yourself to like both us and the audience? I know you've already introduced yourself to the audience on NFT QT, but more just the TBP audience. Like, what do you do? Why has crypto just captured your heart and your mind? Like,
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I would say I'm definitely not a digital native. I think like many people who feel like they've missed out on things. Like I would say that I'm kind of the opposite of a nerd, very much like a sports background. Really got into like storytelling around college time, met up with Q and realized, hey, like there's kind of a knack here for marketing. And he put me on to just learning how to write, essentially read and write. And it was very, very, very basic. But every day we were taking, a piece of technology and saying, okay, what do we think this piece of technology can do 4, 5, 6 years from now? So like we have stories talking about, this quote unquote metaverse from 2017. So, I would say my background is definitely in digital storytelling, I would say, and just figuring out like what's a narrative that we can help spread and push. And that has been pretty beneficial for partnering up with Q and collaborating on all different types of projects from, when we did 23 Vivi back in 2016, selling digital art, to today where we are kind of gone full circle and we're back here again. So I would say pretty much just like an observer who's very open to trying new things. I think I I've got a knack for taking some of the complex things, and because I play this middle ground where I don't have a background in knowing a lot about technology, I can take some of the denser concepts and bring them back to like, things that the average person would understand, specifically in the Midwest where I'm from.
That's such a valuable skill or person to have on board of like, hey, this is, look at all this cool stuff. And then somebody would be like, all right, that sounds cool. But like, can you explain it at this level to like kind of bridge that gap between the like heavy enthusiasts to the interested? And like, if you don't have that, it's very difficult for people who are enthusiasts to understand how they should be talking about things to various audiences, or two, getting people who are interested but don't know everything already to then start to figure out where they can go to learn more, or how to even start thinking about this from like how to ask good questions.
Yeah, like I'll give you a great example. Like in 2016, one of the stories that we wrote that like pretty much blew up all over LinkedIn was how the blockchain could help solve the Kim Kardashian diamond robbery. And it was a very, very clickbaity title, but around that time, everyone was talking about how, Kim K went to like Paris or London or something, and she got like millions of dollars worth of diamonds stolen. And everyone's like, oh man, like, just go to all the jewelers and see who's trying to hawk these things. And, we kind of said like, hey, like the blockchain's perfect for tracking down these diamonds. Here's why. You can basically stamp the information of a diamond into the blockchain and create this identity for it that we already do physically, but like there's no ledger across all diamonds that can be traced. And so we basically took this very like pop culture thing that everyone was talking about, Kim K getting her diamond, millions of dollars of diamonds stolen, and we brought it to this concept of blockchain that in 2016 most people hadn't even heard about, And so I think that's like a good example of how we really merged like what was happening in the real world with real people to like this very, very small niche of technology that will come to, essentially influence the whole world.
I like it. It is a very rare skill, and it helps, especially in the tech like we have, to be able to bring it to the layman. Right, because right now the layman in crypto is being lambasted with like, so wait, a JPEG of a rock sold for 1.3 million. How is that beneficial to my life?
Yeah, no, right? It's really beneficial to your life. You know why? Yeah. Because for the first time ever,
that's the rock.
Digital file. A digital file can have value. For the first time ever, a digital file can have value. Jesse, I need you to say it with me. For the first time ever, a what?
Wait, what?
It's a very complex statement.
Listen, Q. Listen, Q. If I make a 5-minute like B-roll on something, that has value too.
Yeah, I get that.
It's not the file that has value; it's the ownership of the file that has value. Like,
I mean, all right, we're gonna get into the specifics here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
yeah,
that's the whole point. Right? That's what I do. That's all I do. I just get it.
Let it rip. Let's go to the metaverse.
Wait, I just want to pause for the cause for a second. Jesse's green screen image is his typical room background.
I did see that. I thought he was messing with.
That's the metaverse. That's the metaverse. Is making your regular room your green screen background.
Yeah, that is the metaverse right there. Because Jesse, I saw that change, but I was like, wait, hold up, what? I don't think that's his green screen.
Oh, it's 100% his green screen.
Definitely the green screen.
The chair
look at
change.
it. Watch it.
Yeah, look at his hair. Look at his hair. It's like
just change your background.
No. Oh wow.
He goes, oh wow.
I don't know. So that's a great point, and that's what so something that we've talked about a lot, Q, on the Bitcoin podcast is that like what actually is crypto? What actually is blockchain disrupting? Right? We could say it's disrupting trust. We could say it's disrupting the banks if we want to be that guy. I think that is a played argument right now. I think it's going to be played 10 years from now. But what I do think is that it is disrupting value, right? Like that's a disruptive value process. Like typically, you know, there's somebody who's selling these little pointers here. They put a value on it. It's got a cost. I go to the store, I buy it, but then like they can probably explain how they come down to that. Well, you know, there's metal, there's stamping process, there's a salesperson I got to pay, there's all kinds of stuff. But like, I can't explain why that rock was worth $1.3 million.
I mean,
That's disruptive.
No, Dr. Petty can.
I mean,
no, I got you, Dr. Petty. You know what that rock reminds me of?
What?
Money laundering.
Yeah, that's what I typically say. For like current hype prices right now is a combination of irrational exuberance and FOMO and money laundering. Like, in my opinion, right? Like, I have nowhere that I could point and say, hey, look, there's money laundering. But like, everything in my bones feels like artificial money inflation, and then like artificial value inflation, and then someone trying to wash a certain amount of money for something.
I need you to run a term back for us. You said irrational exuberance. I like
that's
that.
A petty special.
That's a petty special. Yeah.
Ryan, let's break that one down. What the hell does irrational exuberance mean? Just for the people in the audience.
Pretty much that you're delusional, right?
You're delusionally
on that term too.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this. And like, why are you excited? Like, I don't know. I'm just super excited and I'm going to throw a bunch of money at it. It's like, well, why would you throw money at that? Do you have any justification? It's like, they're doing it. It's clearly working. There's no foundation for the excitement that has any rationality associated with it.
Right? Petty, you can't go too hard, man, because you know I have NFT QT, and I'm one of those guys that have done the irrational exuberance.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I get pumped about things too, but like,
I spent some significant amount of coin on some of these digital files, man. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not. I have some NFTs.
Should we share our irrational exuberance stories? I have 150,000 ad tokens because in my mind at the time in 2017, I was like, yeah, of course, all journalists are going to want to put all articles on the ad token blockchain so they can prove the provenance that they put their article there. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, 150,000 tokens, the future, baby.
What is ad token? I don't even remember
tokens. I've never heard of ad tokens. That sounds like a bullshit ICO.
ADT, ad token. It wasn't a bullshit ICO. Like, they had a website, they had an idea.
Is that it? That's it?
That's my irrational exuberance.
We know how to get these money now. We know how to get these money.
Hey, the only ADT I know is a security company that always bills me quarterly.
Yeah.
ADT is ad token. And I was like, oh, they got a website? I'm in there, baby. I'm in there.
It's
and
pretty.
That's 2017.
Make with Squaresoft.
Right. But I guess if we reel it back, like, there is real functionality to NFTs, right? There's something real there that's waiting to be defined, and I think you, Q, and Ryan kind of explore that in your show every week.
That's what I was gonna say. You sounds like you listened to our show a few times because we talk about a lot of these valuable use cases. Like, I don't know when this episode's going live, but hopefully by the time this is live, me and Ryan just did a show with the co-founders of, or actually the co-founder, the second one couldn't join us for that episode, but of Dirt. It's a newsletter, and what's special about this newsletter is traditionally when you think about a newsletter, you think of Substack or Medium or MailChimp or ConvertKit, but they were like, hey, we want to make a newsletter. We want to try to fund our first season of this newsletter using NFTs, and that's what they did. They sold a season's worth of NFTs. So a season for them is they needed X amount of money. The way they were going to raise that okay, cool. Yeah, the Dirt episode will be out by the time that this launched. So I just saw that. But Dirt basically funded their newsletter using NFTs, and to me that's exciting because it's like, we know traditional mediums, but they essentially got their own community, not because they were spamming you with the link or telling you to join some show or telling you to join some list. It was because people were genuinely interested. They put their money behind it. And then the people that share that, the people that are token holders, doesn't mean that we only have exclusive access to the content. The content is accessible by anybody, but it's the people that support the content that have the notoriety because we have the said NFT in our wallet. And I think that that's like, to me, a very incredible use case of, what an NFT could look like as far as, how journalists could get involved, right? Because, D, I'm helping you out here. You talked about your ad token. I'm trying to make those ad tokens valuable here. You know,
let's pump that shit. Pump that shit.
NFT might actually be able to help you out, sir. You just got to do the collab.
Pump my bags, baby. Ad token. Get it while it's hot. No, the use cases like that are what make NFTs interesting, and it's always going to be, to me, what NFTs are also unlocking is just a cooler way. It's not better. I can't decide if it's better, but it's a cooler way of having a collectible.
It's like my green screen, right? It's like, it's a cooler way of seeing my same background. You saw the rock, like you can see the rock in paint, or you could see it on the blockchain. It's like the same thing, you know?
I don't know, Jesse. I think you're infatuated with that green screen a little too much, bro.
I'm a little impressed, though.
I am impressed by it because it happened so fast. I was like, is he there?
Jesse, when's the last time you seen sunlight, Jesse? Oh, did I yeah. Oh! Did he just do it?
That's NFTs. That's what they are.
I was thinking you'd have like some hot models behind the green screen or something that you were hiding.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's why you did that.
I'm really impressed with that, actually.
You thought Jesse was cleaning up back there?
Did you practice that? Did you practice that, Jesse?
No, I didn't. But did you like how it was executed?
That was quite well
It's like
done.
Vanna White, huh?
That's pretty baller, man.
So I want to add on to what Q was saying a moment ago, and I think it generalizes this concept of what NFTs are good for, or like how to think about them, right?
Sure.
Like the use case that you talked about with the newsletter is access control, right? And more often than not, when we talk about blockchain and its value, we talk about like the community behind a given token. And the only reason like say Bitcoin or any token at all has any value is because there's a community who wants to use it for something, or thinks that it will be used for something, and then buys it all up. And so when you think about access control from the idea of a fungible token, which is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that other shit, it's like, all right, I have a stake in this community, but it's weighted based on how much of a specific fungible token that I have. Mm-hmm. But if you think about NFTs, it's the same situation. I have stake in this community, but there's no weighting associated with a given NFT. Or you can have hierarchy of NFTs that are more differentiated and not so linear. It doesn't go from like, it's not this like, it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tokens that figures out the distribution of weight in a community. It's this set of 15 NFTs is like the entry level. This one is like the super rare, but it's all the same community, right? And you can do access control based on who has ownership of these things, or and then there's value associated with like what that means, what that ownership of the given token means. And so if you think about NFTs from like an access control or community distribution, it's like who does what in this community and how much value does that have? And so when you think about something like a newsletter, these are the people who want access to this information of what that newsletter is. And the value of whatever that thing is dictates how much any of those NFTs are. Mm-hmm. And what's cool about that is that someone who doesn't want to have access anymore can just sell it to somebody else for whatever that. So like, say like, they get early on a newsletter because they like the newsletter, and then maybe they decide they no longer like that topic or don't want to subscribe to it anymore, but the value of that information has grown substantially. They're like, all right, well, like this information isn't important to me anymore, but there's value associated with access to it, so I'm going to sell it, right, and give someone else who cares, who wants to access the information, access to it. And so you can do all these really cool things with like more well-defined value around a specific thing for a community, as opposed to like what fungible tokens did, like Ethereum and stuff, don't have such a fine-grained idea of what value is. It's just like, I don't know, I have this much and it means that whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like one of the challenges, and I would totally agree with you there, Corey, is like, the communities around a specific project is what is bringing value to them. Like there's 10,000, like just take any project and there's 10,000, NFTs of it. Just, the sheer fact that 40,000 people want to own those 10,000 NFTs is the reason why those are going up. And so like, I think that, like regardless of all the massive sales that we're seeing in the millions, yada, yada, yada for the blue chip projects, I would say like the cool thing I would say about it is even if it is money laundering or whatever the hell's going on, there's a lot of spillage, there's a lot of runoff, and it's creating, in the process of these, crypto millionaires, trying to move their money around, they're creating like, these tangential, like essentially millionaires who just happen to own this cool, rock that they bought 3 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I would say like, that's what is kind of cool about it. And you see a lot of, especially in, the one-of-one art NFTs too, whether it's, a Ferocious or, X Copy, they are, they're the artists that have sold like a good amount of their one-of-one pieces. They couldn't sell them in the physical world because they were digital native. What I like about seeing some of those artists is they're taking, their 300 ETH that they've earned off of their 10 pieces, and then they go and buy more pieces, right? So it's like, yes, it's a little bit of a pyramid in that sense, but like there is real engagement and real interaction and interest around it. And I think that in and of itself is what is different. Like there is a lot of FOMO going on, a lot of just like, oh, I want to get into this project just because who knows, it could be one that goes from $100 to $10,000. But, the essence of it is you have a lot of people kind of, just all communing around this, this one weird concept. And I think that in and of itself is very valuable. Like we haven't necessarily seen that on that grand of a scale, I would say.
Yeah, these are all good points, all amazing points. To the money laundering thing. You like that segue? So did y'all see the news with OpenSea this morning?
I've seen that it happens. I pointed to like their postmortem.
Mm-hmm. Remember it was like 6 months ago when we had that guy on the show, and I was like, people in crypto need to start preparing their I'm sorry speeches. Well, OpenSea had to give theirs today. We're sorry. We didn't know insider trading was going on until today. Come on now. Right. So
I think that's the whole point of like when you build something that like a small set of people have privileged access. You like when you build these like giant asymmetry of information systems where like a small amount of people have more access to valuable information, and then you're going to pretend like they're not going to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. Like no shit. Like that's what happens, right? They built a system that everyone relies upon. They have privileged information or access to information, or like even privileged knowledge on how to access the information if it is public, or like new deals coming out that they can start to kind of figure out when something's going to happen so they can get to it faster. They're going to use it. There's no doubt about it. When you democratize that information, then it becomes more of a market, and the smarter people tend to access the information better. But it's at least like available to everybody so that they can do it equally.
Mm. Yeah.
But good luck, because it's hard. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason why OpenSea is the main market for NFTs. It's because it scales the best right now, and they were also one of the first. So, but like it's really, really hard to do that type of stuff in a completely open infrastructure standpoint. It's a lot easier to do it of like, hey guys, rely on us. We'll scale for you, and we'll give you an API to access like if your what NFTs your wallet has, as opposed to you trying to keep up and implement it yourself, which is a tremendous burden.
Mm.
Yeah, the path of least resistance, right?
Yeah. Oh well, let's talk about some cool shit with NFT. And one thing I did want to point out, Corey and Jesse, is that it was, I don't know, it was probably 3 years ago now, when we were having an interview, and I said to the guy, like, crypto's biggest problem is it's not cool. And then I was like, mass adoption is not going to happen until it's cool. And the guy was like, I don't even know what that means. He was a sciencey guy, Corey. Do you
remember what episode that was?
It was in the 200s. I can't.
That's completely outside my brain.
My memory is deep. It was in the 200s, like 220, 245 in there. But I told the guys, like, crypto's not going to catch on until it's cool.
Ryan.
And then
there, D. Ryan,
go ahead.
that's the future of me and you. Like, I'm going to be citing like episode 200 something, and you're going to be like, I shall remember that.
Hey, I would love to make it as deep as these dudes have made it.
Showing up.
Show up and play ball. That's about it. But crypto's not going to take off until it's cool. And one of the very first times I was talking to someone not in crypto, I was actually talking to my girlfriend's brother, and I was telling him about NFTs. And at the end of the conversation, he finally said the magic words I've been waiting for since 2013. Oh, that's kind of cool. Hadn't heard that one time. Usually when I'm explaining crypto to people, it's like, there's fucking machines. Did you see that James Bond movie where the guy with the fucked up face had the computers? So it's kind of like that, right? And they're like, they're mining, and there's transactions every 10 minutes. They're like, what? Bro, no, I don't want it. I don't want any part of it. It's stupid. You're stupid. And I don't want any part of this. But for the first time explaining something crypto related to somebody, he was like, that's kind of cool. Where can I get an NFT? And I was like, we're getting there.
Gotcha, bitch.
We're getting over.
To build off that, you're right, D. I think, NFTs are intrinsically cooler than, I think, crypto tokens. Just because tokens, people don't understand money in the real world. Like, a lot of people aren't financially stable, right? I mean, this isn't even something to laugh about, but in the U.S.
But you laughed, bro. I saw it. You laughed. We saw it.
I did laugh a little bit.
We'll edit it out. We're not gonna edit it out.
It's all good. I mean, I laugh, but because it's messed up, right? Like, we pride ourselves on being like America the Great, but like, you think about like our ability to like withstand economic turmoil, it's not that great. Like, I mean, think about the stimulus checks. Most people didn't have, I think, $1,000 in their savings account, right? And so when you think about it from that perspective, and you say, okay, get into tokens. I mean,
with what? You're like, yeah, I'm living month to month.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But like, if you say, hey, there's this new Gucci bag, or this new Balenciaga bag, or this new cell phone, or this new car, like, and you can pay for it on your credit card, or you can pay for it on like a month to month thing, like a lease. People they'll get in line and hop in line for that. And NFTs kind of gave you a little bit of that, right? Where, some of the first, it is sketchy, but like, remember, some of the first questions that people were asking when they were saying, how do I get an NFT? It was, how do I buy an NFT with a credit card? That was like, that was the first question that all the major companies had to solve, right? It wasn't like, well, how do you get a wallet? It was like, how do you buy this with a credit card? And I was like, this is so backwards, because that's not how the blockchain works.
Is that good?
No, I think it's horrible. I think it's super horrible. It's bad for blockchain too. Like, because now, like, I don't know if you guys saw the announcement, but like yesterday, Google announced a partnership with Flow. Right? Flow is the same blockchain that powers NBA Top Shot and CryptoKitties, right? Flow was
back end is ugly.
Come on, Petty. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice, Petty. This is why I don't come on the show that often, because I know you're gonna go and you're with these guys, and I don't want to offend nobody.
I'm a purist, dude. Sorry.
I know you are, but we can't offend. Like, what if Google calls us and say, like, hey,
yo, fuck if Google calls me?
Wait, pause. Let's just run that back for a second.
My bad.
Sure?
I'm only one voice of three, so apparently majority wins.
Hey, Jesse's like, man, a Google check would do me nice. Jesse, change your background to Google.
Probably not. Jesse's probably like, I don't give a shit.
No, I don't. Google. Yeah, I don't care about Google. I'm pretty like here's the spectrum between D and Corey. Here's oh, you can't see my other hand.
Can't see your other hand. There you go.
Here's D. Here's Corey.
Yeah.
I'm like towards here. So I'm like not full purist, but I'm like a little bit more toward that side.
Yeah, here's why I said that, right? Like, let me justify why I said it. Is I worry about where the technology is going in these large deals, because those are the ones that are the loudest, that make the largest buzz. And when I see how these things are implemented and think about how they're going to scale, they're going to fail and fail hard. Right? When they make these partnerships and they try and go from like exponential scaling in a short amount of time, they're not going to be able to meet that demand. And then the public idea of what the stuff is gets tarnished drastically, and like the idea of adoption gets like slows down on the grand scale. So like, yeah, it's a cool deal that's potentially very lucrative for a small amount of people, but in the grand scheme of things, it's potentially very damaging. And so when I say, oh shit, their back end is garbage, it means they're not going to be able to handle the scale for the type of deal that Google wants to have. Or if they do, it's not going to be blockchain. It's going to be some bastardization that's called blockchain but isn't. And that, like, as a purist of like, I'm trying to make a difference in how this shit works, that bothers me.
No, fundamentally, I agree with you there, right? Like, I think that like the implementation and the naming, I mean, it's what we saw with like Bitcoin, right? When everybody was like, yeah, I got Bitcoin, and they were holding like fucking some altcoin that didn't make any sense. Like, they're like, yeah, I got some Bitcoin, but you really got Litecoin, or you got like,
you got LTC, you got Walmart LTC instead.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Because they didn't know, but like, it wasn't even that they didn't know, it was that the information that they were given, it was probably bad. Like, you remember in 2017 when people were like, there were people going to jail for this in Florida. They were having seminars. They're like, yo, invest in Bitcoin. It's going up, blah, blah, blah. They were taking retirement homes, having these seminars, taking people's pensions and 401ks, investing it into like shitty altcoins, and then telling all these people that they had Bitcoin. And then it turned out it was a whole scam. And like, this is the type of information missharing that happens because people just don't go as deep as you, or they don't read the white paper. It was called BitConnect.
Oh yeah,
that's what it was called.
There's probably a gift somewhere in the corner up here.
Hey.
It's called
Did you see him? He wants a harem. He's asking for 4 women from 25 to 35. Seriously, the BitConnect guy.
Right?
No, I'm not kidding.
Carlos Matos.
Yeah, Carlos Matos.
It takes a certain level of swagger to ask for a harem in 2021. I'll tell you that much.
Yo,
Swagger.
Also, rest in peace to John McAfee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could give him an RIP. Corey doesn't like John McAfee very much. But
Why don't you like John?
That dude was a bane.
I think he brought a lot of badness to crypto.
Everything that he promoted was a scam.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's why I'm telling him rest in peace. I mean, he I think John McAfee and BitConnect all are in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah. I like that video of was it Trevor? Remember with like 2030, it was Trevor, the guy for BitConnect, and he's like, "Well, you didn't really lose your money." And then he takes a deep breath and he's like, "Okay, so you did lose all your money." Anyways, so you're 9 episodes in on NFT QT, Ryan and Q. What are there NFTs that have stuck out that you like? You know, something that's come on your show that you're surprised is doing as well as it is, or something that's come on your show that you knew was going to do well? Is there anything that's standing out so far? Hey,
can we shill our own NFTs here?
Yeah, do it, man.
For sure.
Oh, Calder, should I shill or you want to shill first? Who's going to shill? You going to roll that dice?
I'll let you take the lead.
All right. I know what you're going to shill, so I'm going to take. Hey, when y'all say it's time to shill, I have the hand cream for shilling. I got the hand grapes. This is my shield cream. Y'all know about that?
Get that dude peeking out from behind a tree on a graphic on the top right. You know what I'm talking about? In the yellow suit. He's like, oh, shit.
Mike Adams.
Mike Adams, yeah.
Hey, you want to be Birdman? You don't need to sign the cash money. All you got to do is go ahead and get some of this shield cream.
You can find it on Amazon in 30 days.
All right. Meanwhile, check this out. So Ryan, me and Ryan, like, so in the NFT space, for those that don't know, this might be your first time hearing about NFTs. So you might not know some of the technicalities behind it, but there's a lot of projects that are now kind of copying each other. And so when they do that, they look at the attributes or the heuristics of a very popular project. So let's think the CryptoPunks, and there's 10,000 CryptoPunks. And so every project that kind of mimics that, we call those 10Ks. Well, the 10Ks are a dime a dozen now. There's so many profile picture projects. There's so many avatar projects. There's so many just random 10K projects. And there was a point where I was just like, yo, I don't think there's going to be any more lift here. But we've seen certain groups and certain populations really build communities outside of crypto and they're not growing as fast as, some of these crypto native projects where you get, Justin Sue to promote it. And then the next day, you've done, 10,000 ETH, but it's an organic growth cycle. And so that project that really caught my eye and caught Ryan's eye first, and I'm just surprised at how well it's grown, is the long necky ladies. Like you literally, hey, Petty, you laughed that time.
It's a good name. It's a catchy name.
We're 1 for 1 right now. Ryan, I'm gonna let you, because it's your project, so I'm gonna let you talk about it.
For sure. I mean, there was, I think back in maybe like April or something, there was a story that caught pretty much even like the New York Times attention. It was this 12-year-old kid made like, $500,000 or whatever, making his own project called Little Whales, something like that. And like everyone found out, oh, wow, this young little kid's, balling in NFTs. Let's support him. And then like you kind of saw like the wave after, like, oh, if you're a 12-year-old kid and you make a project, damn, like it could blow up because people want to support the youth. So like pretty much right after that, there was a project called Long Necky Ladies. It was another like 12, 13-year-old kid, girl actually this time. And she was putting this thing out like, all right, if I lose all my money minting this thing, I don't really care. I just helped like, fund this little girl's dreams. Let's do it, like, so that's kind of like the basis behind it. But then from there, they're like, all right, now we're launching long necky fellas. I'm pretty sure pretty soon they're going to have long necky children where you can take two, your lady and your fella, you can put them together and you can now, spawn a child. Like, so like, it's like a fun little, like, game almost in a sense. But like when you hop in their Discord, it's just like nothing but support. It's nothing but, a lot of like nice people just being like, yeah, like I'm here for the same reason. Like, I don't care if this project goes to zero. Cause like just the story of helping this, little girl who wants to be, make waves and essentially be a whale herself to do this, And so I think like that was the first one where we were like, all right, I'm not doing this out of FOMO. I'm just doing this purely out of support. And I think that's kind of where I think everything here started. And it's since grown into this thing where, all right, if you basically like to get back to the whole metaverse thing, like where it's this concept that nobody can define, but everyone talks about. Pretty much now, like most of those 10K projects that Q talks about there's 3 value propositions. If you mint this NFT and you hold it, you get to mint the next NFT that we're going to create. You're also going to get, access to our Discord, and we're going to build a metaverse in the future that, everyone can hang out and convene in. If you see those only 3 value propositions, stay away from those projects. Cause that's like, basically that's now like the whole book in a box thing. Like, here's the 3 things. If you put those requirements down, like you're going to sell out, you're going to do well. And that's like a real problem right now. So like, I think we've had over the summer, we've seen so many of those that now we're like the areas that we're mostly focused on, I would say are gaming. Like, I think NFT gaming is really where
let me tell the people why you think gaming NFTs are really, really the future. Jesse, I got a question for you because you seem like a smart dude at public math. You ready?
No, I'm not good.
I need you to estimate how many hours Ryan has spent playing NFT games this week.
Oh, just this week.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not a gamer. Like I don't sit around and play Call of Duty. Like,
so what flavor? I guess are you playing like flipping NBA Top Shots or what are you doing?
Like play to earn games, like basically, like card games essentially.
The amount of time that you put into the game earns you NFTs, which are potentially valuable later on.
Exactly.
An hour a day. 2 hours a day?
It's about 2 to 3 hours a day. And that's coming from a guy who probably hasn't played a video game in 15 years.
And like, what's the result of this? I don't know. I want to know what the result is. Like, what's been your experience, and has it been worth your 2 to 3 hours?
From a monetary perspective, hell no. I have not made my money back in it. And that's probably because I'm not great at video games. And I don't know how to pick the right characters and shit like that, But I think from just like an understanding perspective, it's made me way more valuable as a person to see like, oh shit, there's 200,000 people that do this every single day. I want to know why they do it. And now I kind of have figured it out because there are so many layers to it. So, I mean, I think this is the unfiltered NFT QT perspective. Me and Q both kind of believe that a lot of these avatar projects basically that were spawned because Bored Ape Yacht Club did well and CryptoPunks did well. All of these profile pic avatar 10K projects. I think it's the worst thing that is happening to NFTs right now, and I think it's probably the problem that is going to cause a lot of people to lose money. But I think when we look just in a year, if there is, a theoretical bubble that bursts with this, I do think that NFT gaming will kind of save it all because there are just so many people spending so much time in it. And it's like, there is actually, the economy of it, yes, is essentially like a pyramid scheme right now, where as long as more new players want to come in and buy up the NFTs that are required to play the game, yeah, it's going to be successful. And I do think, when you look at it, there are only like just barely over 1 million plus people who have played Axie Infinity. What happens when that gets to 200 million, like a Fortnite or something,
I mean, I wouldn't call it pyramid. People argue pyramid, like people use that definition a little too loosely these days, just because the rate at which we're exposed to good schemes is so high. I wouldn't call it a pyramid, right? Like, you can call anything. The first person who had a bunch of big ass mountain of steel, and they were like, "Hey man, we need steel," and they'd be like, "Crazy, right? I'm the only one that has it, so you're gonna have to get it from me."
A pyramid is when you're like the recruitment of new individuals is more valuable than why you're recruiting them.
And you don't think that's kind of what I mean? I think that's the basis of it.
Well, when you have anything where like value is derived from a community, it's going to look similar, but that's why that like comparison gets made a lot, is because people have a hard time justifying the underlying value of the digital scarcity. Mm-hmm. And only the community is ramping up that value. But I think that the underlying scarcity and knowledge of ownership and its provenance is valuable, and why it's valuable, or like why it's different, is that it's a value that we're not replicating from something we've already had. It's value that's being quantified from something that was previously unquantifiable. And in the past, we're figuring out how much it's worth to be a part of a community and give a specific amount of effort towards it. Where in the past, it's all been internet points and karma that had no value associated with it. And this I think this, like, I don't know, blockchainification, digital scarcity, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is starting to add a little bit of quantification to community value. And whereas like previously it was very hard to determine, or it was heavily manipulated, and blockchain helps you work with the manipulability of some of those things. And so people who don't understand that aspect of it say, oh, it's a pyramid scheme because you just add more people and it has value.
So it's wild, and this might not be all the way a part of the conversation, but like now that digital identity is here, right? Like it's here. I think I talked about this in the last episode where I was like, on the internet, you used to be anonymous. You used to go by your handle and no one in the real world knew your handle. But now we've evolved to the point where I've got my driver's license in my phone, right? Like digital identity is here. So now we can tie value to that identity, right? Just like in the real world, if I want to go, oh, damn, you had a lot of room noise, or at least on my end. When you muted just now, it feels like we're talking in a quiet room. Anyways.
AC turned on.
For example, like right now I'm in the transaction of trying to buy a home. And the identity, like they're getting into my identity hard and through the back, right? Because I have an identity in the real world that they can go and trace and find value and how it got there and who put it there, right? That situation is going to evolve to a point where it's happening digitally. And NFTs are going to be just a stepping stone in that evolution. They're going to be a part of that process, right? So you guys are on to a great show. I do really hope you get into the 200, 300s on a weekly show. It's just about showing up, man, and having passion about what you talk about. and present it in a way that nobody else is presenting it.
For sure.
I think you do that. Like, that's why you're on our network. In fact, I want to say this. We brought the network back for you guys, right? Wow. We were like this. We were pretty much like,
we were over it. We're over it. Like, no more, just us. And we're like, yeah,
shut it down. I think we even hit the big red button, shut it down. And then like, we didn't know that the wires were disconnected behind the button. I looked back there and I was like, oh shit, we never canceled it. Like,
well, we're honored.
Yeah, man.
I would say like the main value, like for anybody who is listening that wants to go check out NFT QT, like we are definitely showing a different side to the NFT market. You know, we really do our due diligence to find guests that are bringing like the new ideas to NFTs. So like we brought on Async, they're making programmable NFTs. So basically, you know, you have a master NFT that is then controlled by all these different layer NFTs. And so a bunch of different people can own the layers and they get to change what that layer does. And it essentially changes what the master is. So like, that's one example. We brought on Dirt, the newsletter. Like these are things that, you know, if you just scroll Twitter, you know, you're only seeing one side of NFTs. We really want to like show kind of the broad range of what the tech can do and like what actual, you know, ideators and innovators are bringing to the table, because like we started a digital art marketplace in 2016. We didn't make it this far. We didn't get to cash in on this, you know, this massive land sale that's going on right now. Had we, you know, we essentially wanted to be the OpenSea, but we couldn't stay the course, right? Now we see what's happening and it's very much not what we intended to, or what we thought we would see. So I think NFT QT show, if you want to check it out, it's given a different side to NFTs. We're not just talking about the latest CryptoPunk sale. We're not just talking about why, you know, Visa bought a CryptoPunk and all this shit. You know, like we really do want to kind of highlight the innovators, the people who have ideas and are, you know, kind of setting up things that could be really, really cool in a few years once there is, you know, bigger mass adoption.
Thank you for that. And don't make the same mistake I did in turning down hundreds of CryptoPunks because you thought it was a shitty idea. You know, check that inbox. Give him a shot. Give him a shot. Please give him a shot. Jesus, give him a shot. Because you never know.
That one down. He's not going to let himself go for that one.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of crypto I can let go, but that one in particular, because the dude really wanted to just come on the show and talk about crypto. There it is. Just wanted to talk about CryptoPunks, and I was like, you know what, dude? No, that's nobody wants a Tamagotchi that you can't feed. What stupid idea?
Who knew?
Who knew? You know, so I think Q's phone dropped out, but anything you want to, man, plug NFT QT. I think
he just did.
Pretty much. Hey, we're giving away free Lamborghinis over on NFT QT show. Not really, but you know, maybe one day.
Hey, that's doing it like Justin Sun would. Did I say I was going to give you a Tesla? Because what I meant was I'm not.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what happened.
Hey, big promises, little deliver. That's a lot of the NFT stuff right now, but not everything.
Jesse, man, that's just an interesting question.
All right. So we usually wrap up the podcast with a few trademark questions, and mine for you is what you do actually difficult?
What I do actually difficult. Every day I wake up and I have to write a 1,500 word article on some new theory. That's the hardest part of my day.
So how do you find that?
Difficult or
is it difficult or not? Yeah.
It's gotten easier. But I'm sure you guys can attest to this. You know, after you get past, you know, number 50 or 60, you start running out of ideas. And then you hit a new wave. You guys are on 300 something episodes, and you're still finding things to talk about. I think it's, you know, the beauty of the internet is being able to share ideas. And I think it can be challenging to constantly come up with new ideas, but I think that's probably the most difficult part of my day.
Okay. I'd say the few people that have stuck with us throughout this entire time can attest to the multiple waves that we have hit throughout the process of making this podcast. We have done a lot of different things in different formats in different ways, and we'll keep doing it. So kudos to you
Wayne
for sticking with it.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to Wayne. I'm only ever talking to Wayne.
Only ever? That's rude.
No, this is what I put in my head. We're going to do this a little differently. We're going to do a lightning round with the 10 words or less, right? Since you are a professional in finding unique things to say about these tangential technologies, we're going to do a lightning round of a bunch of shitty tech that I know you maybe have written about or thought about writing about, and you got to define it in 10 words or less. You ready for this?
I'm all in. Can we do it like shitty answers only?
just whatever you got. You're professional, bro. Do your thing. I'm just going to do your thing.
Cool.
Snapchat glasses.
Another reason to take too many pictures.
Okay. Smart toasters.
I wish a smart toaster could put any face on a piece of toast.
He's good.
Cool.
That would be good.
I want that.
Okay. Man, what are some shitty tech? Oh, here's one. This will dig deep in the memory banks. HD DVD players.
HD. Walmart Blu-ray.
Interesting. That's even topical because we got Walmart Litecoin out here. I like you good at what you do. Okay. Is there any crypto related tech? EOS.
Don't know much about it.
Well, you pretty much described it.
You just say Solana, the new EOS.
Yeah. What's Solana? What do you think about Solana?
I don't know how it's worth $160.
Man, I love this. This is nice. Lightning round. Okay. I'm out of tech.
Well, let's just give them the regular one.
All right. In 10 words or less, can you describe NFTs?
Digital receipts for images.
Okay. We'll take it.
Interesting.
That's accepted because we've never denied one.
Yeah.
Wait. Did I do all right?
Yeah.
I'm usually more of a I'm much better at writing out my ideas than
Oh, that's the point. The whole point is to put people on the spot and see what they come up with.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the best answers we've had to the Bitcoin one was it's for the streets. It's for the people. It didn't really define it.
Lil Boosie.
No. That was actually Base God.
Oh, it was? Lil B.
You got your Lils mixed up.
So, whatever. I don't know.
It's all good. Well,
really
Ryan,
question rappers at this point.
Thank you first and foremost for your contributions to the network. And I know that you're giving content to our audience or the Bitcoin Podcast Network audience that they deserve, right? Like anybody can get on Twitter and say like, oh my gosh, a picture of a tree stump sold for $1.5 million. That's crazy. But actually like digging into, the gaming NFTs, right? I guess it's essentially like breeded programs, like that stuff is where NFTs are valuable. And why they'll continue to be valuable. So thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.